Hello there. You're finding us in a little different scenario than usual for some Kinstretch because one of our favorite parts of Kinstretch is that you can really do it anywhere. And sometimes the bed or the sleep square is the perfect place to get some mobility training in. So in terms of props, you'll want that bed surface or something comfortable to lay down on and sit on. Also, you'll want a pillow to prop your hips up a little bit later. So snag that. Also, as we go through today, all of these positions are sort of designed to be most accommodating to your body. So if you find that one of these positions or cues that we give you just isn't feeling quite right, we recommend you just like either skip over that one or let us know a question and help us help you fine tune it to work better. All right, so go ahead and come down into a supine position, laying down on your back. You can elevate your head onto a pillow if that feels comfortable, or you could just be laying flat and give your knees just a little bend so that you ease up the position at your hip. Just take a moment, feel your spine nice and heavy onto the bed. Take a few breaths to settle your nervous system. Okay, we're going to be working on breathing a little bit today. For now, I want you to just aim that air as low down your torso as possible. Really trying to breathe to the bottom of your spine, breathing into the bowl of your pelvis, and maybe feeling your belly expand on the inhale and gently collapse on the exhale. All right. On your next inhale, filling up your torso, I want you to brace your midsection just a little bit so now you feel those muscles in your midsection come alive. You can also push your feet gently into the bed to feel your legs come alive a little bit. And then you can place your hands on your pelvis, on your midsection, or somewhere that's going to give you some feedback of the motion we're going for, which is going to be a tilt of your pelvis. So keeping those muscles on, start curling your tailbone under. As you feel that pelvic tilt kind of run out of room, just pause and tilt the other way, feeling your tailbone dig into the bed and your belt buckle reach towards your knees. Okay, go ahead, keep going back and forth from those two positions, noticing what stretch sensations you can feel, noticing how those active muscle tissues feel different as your position changes, and maybe getting a sight to how you could subtly or gently increase the amount of tilt that you find in each direction. Great work. Keep going with this for another 10 seconds. And wherever you find yourself, relax. Let those legs relax. Let your pelvis come back to a neutral shape. All right, good. So now we're going to skip down the body to move the ankle joints a bit. From here you have an option to either lift your leg with a bend in the knee or with a straight knee. If you can, try to straighten that leg out and let's see how that feels as you reach one leg straight up to the ceiling. Okay, if you find that super straight leg is a little too much or isn't even quite possible, then you can bend the knee. And the key here is that whatever shape your knee is making, you're going to try to keep it as we now focus on the ankle motion. So start that ankle motion by going toes towards knee, gas pedal up position, and then gently trace this circle with your toe out to the side, coming into a point, and then bringing those toes in towards your midline before arriving back where we started. Just go ahead and keep going in this direction. You're on the clock for about 30 seconds. And we really like this position because you can look right down at your ankle but also your knee and see if you are in fact keeping that shape the same or if your knee is moving along with your ankle, which we want to try to tune down. Great. Pause wherever you find yourself and just reverse course, trying to feel that you have active control at each of these positions. So if there's any jumpy or jerky moments, trying to smooth those out, going a little slower. Also lingering through any clear stretches that you might find, any contractions that are presenting themselves, really trying to get in touch with all of those sensations around your ankle. and relax. Nice. You can set that leg down, take a breath before lifting your other leg. And checking in on what knee position is going to feel right for this ankle car. Again, straight would probably be the most fixed position for your knee, but if that's not an option, ankle car is very accessible with a bend in the knee as well. Once you've found your spot, start gas pedal up with the ankle so those toes are reaching towards the knee, and then reaching the toes out to the side, we can start this full car. Really trying to feel that every single angle is a possible position that you could control. Sometimes the reaching out to the side or the reaching in towards your midline can feel a little less clear, so you might go a little slower through those portions. Nice. Good. And wherever you find yourself, pause. Make sure your knee stays still and reverse course to trace your ankle car back in the other direction. Nice. This is also, in addition to being a great mobility training for the ankle, a great way to just get some blood flow through your lower body. So if you happen to be, stuck in bed or recovering for some reason in bed, this can be a really nice movement to just keep going throughout the day to help with that blood flow return from your lower body into your torso, into your heart. All right, and go ahead, relax, let that one go. Okay, from here, I'm going to have you come up to seated for our first seated car. And you'll just scooch to the edge of your bed so that you can get your feet flat on the ground. All right. From here, we're going to just warm up the scapular joint, so kind of the inner part of your shoulder, and you can select what angle you're going to use for your arms. I'm going to have Hannah show just a couple so you can see. We're going to probably do them straight out in front, but you could just as soon reach them down by the side, maybe pushing into the bed. You could also place them on the bed, and create a little positive downward pressure. Really, whatever angle feels best for your shoulder, where your arm meets your body, that's the one you're going to want to pick to help move your scapular joint. So go ahead, find that shape that you're going to use. Whatever one it is, you're going to create a little tension in your midsection so you feel those torso muscles come alive. Maybe squeeze your hands into fists. And then start this motion by shrugging your shoulder blades up to your ears. And then keeping your arms straight, pull those shoulder blades in towards your spine and then down into your back pockets before sliding them apart as you reach them forward. Continue moving in this direction, lingering through any spots that might feel good, might feel a little bit unclear or like a blind spot for you. And always checking to make sure your midsection is still active. You're not just sitting there, but you're trying to feel a little bit of that muscly statue feel. Good. Drawing the largest circle, or might feel a little bit more like a square. Just creating that boundary. Wherever you are, pause and just go in the other direction. If you get lost, you can always start with that shrug again and either move forward or back to start a circle. Great stuff. And checking back in on those elbows to see if they're trying to bend and get in on the movement. We really want to try to keep those joints still, stable, so that we maximize the awareness of your scapular joint. For 3, 2, 1, and relax. Great. All right. So then from here, you're going to grab your pillow, your support pillow, and we're going to place this somewhere kind of underneath your hips or belly, just so that your spine is actually a little closer to flat. Sometimes when you lay on a bed, especially a soft bed, the middle part of your body can kind of collapse, which actually bends your spine into sort of like a hammock shape. So we want to overcome that with the pillow, and that might take some doing. So just really encourage you to kind of move around a little bit, find the spot where, oh, it actually feels like spacious on the top of your torso and you don't feel that you're collapsing into the bed. All right. Once you're here, you can set your legs in any comfortable shape, little bend in them or straightening them out, whatever works for you. And then place your top hand either on your waist or your rib cage. If that's not available to you, you could also just rest your forearm and really tune into the connection of your forearm to your rib cage. All right. So whatever you're using to monitor that part of your body, this is basically your target now for some deep breathing, some maximally expansive breathing. So start this by just simply breathing in like we were at the beginning of class, trying to aim that air into your hand. And then once you feel completely full, just let that air out in a relaxed manner before again starting to draw air into your torso, aiming for that spot that you're aware of on the top side of your torso here. Good. And then letting that air out. So we're going to keep going with this idea for about 30 more seconds. Try to have the focus be how full you can expand on the inhale. So each inhale, you're trying to almost work for a little bit more space, a little bit more expansion into that target on the side of your body. And you can maybe hear or see that Hannah's demonstrating just a little pause at the end of her inhale where she's actually trying to breathe in more air, but there's no more room to fill in her torso. Good. All right, one final breath, really tanking up, trying to expand into corners of your torso that maybe aren't so used to breathing. Okay, and then on this exhale, I want you to let the air out, but then follow through and keep pushing the air out, almost like you're trying to blow out a candle that's maybe a foot in front of your face. Yeah, and you can kind of purse your lips and push that air out and keep pushing until you feel completely empty and keep holding actually. This should feel like a very active effort under your hand. And then relax and feel the air just rush back into your body. And now we're going to be focusing here on the exhale. So when you feel full enough with air, just start another exhale and let that be the focus for these 30 seconds. Trying to blow out as much as you can, holding that contraction for a moment, and then just relaxing and letting air rush back in, but not really fighting for a big inhale this time. Really blowing that candle out, feeling air really exiting your body, and then continuing to work for that even after you've run out of air. And then inhale to recover, final breath cycle. Pushing that air out and inviting as much active effort to that exhale as feels good for you today, to really wake up all those breathing muscles and relax. Very nice, okay? We're gonna just turn on over and get the other side. I'm gonna switch my position too. All right, so getting comfy here. You might find that the pillow needs to sit a little more under your pelvis, a little more under your rib cage. Totally free to adjust that. And then on this side, again, finding your reference point with that top arm, either forearm on or hand on ribs or waist, and begin your breath cycle, starting by just breathing in with the target for that inhale right underneath your hand. Seeing how much expansion you can create and really working for a little bit more expansion before just letting the air out. So this is that inhalation focus for our maximal expansive breathing. We'll work on it for about 25 more seconds. Great work. And this side seam of our body can kind of be hiding in plain sight, but that really is an area that should expand on each inhale. So just inviting a little bit more expansion for these last couple breaths. Good. And final inhale, really pulling that air in and almost feeling like you're trying to continue inhaling even when there's no more room to put that air. Great, and then let that air out, and this time follow through with that exhale, maybe pursing your lips to push the air out like you're blowing a candle out, and feeling now some active effort for more exhale. Good, now relax and just let the air come in. Now we're working on that exhalation focus for your maximal expansive breathing. Each rep trying to push the air out. Good. As you continue, I want you to consider your lungs are sort of big bags or balloons. And when we work this exhale, it's almost like you're trying to crumple up those bags even tighter. And that can actually really be a key component to a functional breathing pattern, is really working all the way to the end of your exhale and then inviting in a recovery inhale. Good. Go ahead, let this exhale coming up be your final one. Really working as much intensity into this exhale as feels good for you, and holding that final exhalation for 3, 2, 1, and relax. Yeah, that can really feel like a real core exercise, because it absolutely is. Your core is a big part of that breathing mechanism. From here, let's go ahead and come back up to a seated position. Okay. And again, you're going to want to set up in a way that your feet can get flat on the floor. Your hands, you have kind of two options here. Option one is to place your hands on your thighs so that you can create some positive pressure and you can give your upper body a little job. Another option, if that's not a good reach for you, is to actually push down onto the bed next to you. Yeah, and sometimes even the squishiness of the bed, you can still feel your upper body engage, and you want to keep that engagement. We're going to be articulating the spine. So for you to be able to see that, I'm actually going to have Hannah kind of hug herself so you could see the side of her spine a little bit. But again, you're going to have your hands on your thigh bones or on the bed. Okay. Now from here, really plant those feet. Take a breath in to pack some air into your torso. And then keeping that active brace going through your upper body, start to curl your tailbone under, feeling that pelvic tilt from before. But then you're going to let that spill up your spine so that you're rounding into your lower back, rounding and flexing your mid back, and then your upper back, and really try to trace that motion all the way up your spine until you're stretching the back of your neck. And then check that your upper body is still braced and start turning your tailbone the other way. So we're tilting your pelvis in that other direction into spinal extension. Again, let this spill up your spine so you're reaching your belly button forward. You're reaching those ribs open on the front of your body. Try to reach your collarbones up to the ceiling. And then if it feels safe to you, you can also reach your chin up to the ceiling, but that's totally optional if that doesn't work. All right, continue going back and forth, curling your tailbone to start your segmentation into flexion. And maybe looking specifically for a stretch along the back side of your spine here. The goal would be to feel stretch at every segment of your spine. That might be clear to you or that might not be, but that's something you want to look for. And then as we move the tailbone backward and start moving the spine into extension, you're going to look for that stretching sensation along the front line of your body. Can you create a line of stretch from your belt buckle all the way through your sternum, maybe to the base of your neck or to your chin if you're reaching your head up? Great work. Keep chipping away at this for 30 more seconds, moving at your pace and trying to seek out just a little bit more flexion and then a little bit more extension as you move through that. Great work, 15 more seconds. Breathing, continuing to breathe, but not losing that active feeling through your upper body and those actively planted feet. because we really do want to work with active tissue here. And relax. Wherever you find yourself, you can let it go. Very nice. Okay. Finally, I'm going to have you come down back onto your back. We're going to finish up here. And we're going to be working on your hip to kind of finish up. This is biggest joint in our body, so it can potentially be the most demanding. From here, again, you're going to bend both knees just slightly. You don't want those knees to be too high off the bed, but you do want to buy yourself a little space. And then lift one foot off the bed and get that knee joint basically right over your hip. Yeah. Here's where you can really help yourself out by using your hands as reference points, either on the thigh itself or on the thigh and the pelvis. The goal is that you're only going to move this leg and nothing else in your body is going to move, okay? So brace your midsection. Feel that active effort turning on through your torso. And then start rotating that hovering leg, reaching the ankle out to the side, and then swinging it over the other direction. And as we rotate back and forth, your thigh bone is probably going to try to wave side to side, and that's what I want you to work on trying to control. So your thigh bone is like a laser beam straight up to the ceiling, and it's just rotating like an axle so that the motion is showing up in your lower leg. Good. As this movement becomes more clear to you, you can try to come to a complete stop. Try to find a little bit more active effort as if you were trying to rotate further, but you just are running into the edge of your controllable range. And this is where this motion can start to feel a little more like strength training, a little more intensity, a little bit more enlivening for the tissues around that hip, around your spine. Good. 5 more seconds. Finding your rotation, and then go ahead and set it down. Just a quick note, your rotation will definitely be different from what you're seeing Hannah demonstrate here. So we really want you to focus in on whatever kind of rotation you're finding. All right. Let's go ahead and do the same motion on the other side. So lift that leg, really brace your body, feeling your other foot press into the bed, your torso turn on, those hands are in position for reference, and then begin rotating your hip. Rotating one way and the other, and fighting for more at each end range. You really feel that active effort. Good. So these hip capsule CARs, if they're new to you, really helpful to just sort of rehearse which direction is which. As your ankle goes out to the side, that's actually internal rotation of your thigh bone. And as your ankle reaches in, that's actually external rotation of your thigh bone or your hip joint. If that's new for you, that can be really helpful because it's terminology we use a lot in a lot of these classes. And this is a great way to really kind of practice that or get up to speed with that. Good. Always finding a complete stop. 10 more seconds of active exploration of rotation. 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right. Very nice job. Again, let us know if there was any of these pieces that weren't quite landing for you, and we'd be glad to problem solve. And we'll see you again soon.